everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bread-a-licious. Today, dried cranberry and pecan bread. Let's get cooking, y'all. I do recommend sea salt when making breads because you do want that extra salty tang. Celtic salt is a favorite of mine. It offers a very nice mineral flavor. They have a wonderful store. I encourage you to check out their website. Although I'm doing cranberries and pecans, you're welcome to do any almonds, hazelnuts. Instead of cranberries, you can do raisins, dried apricots. The one thing I will recommend is stay away from black walnut. Black walnut has a different oil texture, and with the current recipe doesn't heat well. It gets a rancid taste. But without further ado, let's get this together. I'm using an unbleached flour, okay? Unbleached bread flour. And I put the water in there, I put the yeast in there, and then I gotta do the so many ounces. Okay, excellent. Okay. So now I've scaled everything, and I'm gonna get that all together. Getting to those edges really good so I don't get any dry pockets. Remember, the yeast feeds off the flour, so you want to make sure it has plenty to feed off of. There we go. Okay. And then that's what that should look like. It's going to seem really dry, but I'm going to leave this, let it go overnight. But after 16 hours, you're actually looking pretty good. You get this. Now this is a stiff biga, so it's not like the pate ferment where it bubbled up as much. Although this rose, this one's a lot more whole. It's not as sticky, so that's something to bear in mind. Alrighty, so on with our dough. I'm gonna grab some flour and get me some things. So I have my mix of whole wheat flour and stuff, salt and bread flour in here. Gonna go ahead and dump that in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tear the starter into chunks, and you just tear off pieces and plop them in. That'll all work out. And again, if a little flour gets on the table, no big deal. You're working on the table anyway. Maximize the tools given to you. It's great. I just take my dough whisk. Ideally, you would have a bigger bowl, but use what you got at home. The only thing is I wouldn't recommend a glass bowl with a metal whisk, but other than that, you're good. Flour to the surface, dump that in, and then I'm going to just do a light togetherness, not a heavy knead, just a light one, kind of soak up all those pieces. Okay, I have fanned this guy out a little bit, and there's a reason for that, so I'm kind of making it semi-flat. Gonna roll up my sleeves a bit here. Now that it's fanned out, I'm gonna flour my hands so they don't get as gunky like they did when I was putting it together. And then I kind of fold it in like a book. Then you knead, and then it pierces through. So this actually works quite well. And then this way they kind of contain. And as you can see, they kind of fly out on you. No big deal. That's perfectly normal. Kind of get a ball going for yourself, and then what you can do is just pick them up. And some of them will pop out, that's all right. So then we're going to knead this with our kneading techniques. And then we're gonna put it in our container and let it rise for 2 hours. Here is a bread making starter kit that's within $20 to $25, and it's through my friends at Baking Genie. They have this dough whisk, which I really like. They also have a flour duster. I've gotten so used to doing this, but this is a nice option, and what it is nice is you have a tool for it. It screws on. You have this cap so you cover it so the flour doesn't get all gunky. It comes with a lame. They have a cover for it too, that way you have something to kind of guard. So that's actually really nice. I thought that was nice of them to include. They also come with a bench scraper, and this one has ruler markings in both inches and centimeters. You have your brush offer to help clean your stations, and they can bring you 2 proofing baskets, which is really nice. A circular one and an oval one, so if you want more you'll have to buy more, but this is what comes with the kit. Just understand that with the kit, and in shipping, they do have the silica gel, so you'll have to remove the packet when you get it. But they do that just so things don't get moist and moldy on you. But yeah, it comes with all this. It's a very reasonable price. It's a great way to get started into baking. I highly recommend it. So thanks again, guys, for this wonderful kit, and we'll get right back to it soon. Alright, so we went over the overall kit, but with proofing baskets. You get a lot that are oval shaped, okay? You also get ones that are round shaped and have the cloth. The reason I like Baking Genies is they have the flat bottom so it doesn't roll. There's nothing wrong with this one. This is a very good one, but it does roll on me a little bit. The advantage though is they're always machine washable. If you're not ready to start yet, or you're just trying stuff on your own, one thing that I did in the beginning of my career of baking at home was I would actually take the old style dinner napkins that are made out of cloth, and then I would put that cloth. So if I had to do 4 smaller loaves, I could do that with a cereal bowl and then the cloth. The only thing is they're not quite designed to breathe as well. So if you don't flour it really well, they can get super sticky. These are made with special cloths designed, and linen designed to help fight and not get stuck to dough. But in short, that's a quick intro to these Bannetons, and make your own Banneton at home to get started if you need to. Alrighty. So we have our Cranberry Pecan Bread that's been resting for 2 hours, 1 hour after the fold, and that's how it should look. It's starting to relax, okay? So we're gonna make 2 big loaves out of this guy. I'm gonna pull it out again with conviction. Now the dried cranberries made it a little red, that's fine. And because I'm making 2 loaves, I'm just gonna cut this in half. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it for myself. And I have 2 different Bannetons here, so we're gonna try one of each so you can see what they look like. To do this guy, the round one, you kinda tuck, 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 and you go around almost like you're circulating your beanbag almost. And then you flip it, and then you curve in, digging in, curve out. Curve in, curve out. And you're twisting it. I'm pushing in, guiding in. Pushing in, guiding in. Push, guide, push, guide. And you just keep push, guide, and you're tightening it. And then you just do a nice little seam to make sure. Push, guide, push, guide, push, guide. Now, we are gonna flip it onto our board. So this would be face side up. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the nuts sticking out because those will burn anyway. That looks good. I put it presentation side down. Okay, and then I just push those nuts in there, and I can just let that sit. To do an oval shape, I'll go around, I do a trapezoid fold, and then tuck. And again, that tight rolling beanbag motion. And then I get the edges really good. Then I do a seam. And as you can see, I'm getting that karate chop in. Do another seam. Do a roll to make sure. That's looking pretty good. I'm not getting too many nuts poking out, so that's good. I'm just gonna grab a couple of them. Don't worry about little dough tears. That'll work itself out as it rises. And then I just take it, plop it in. And then we let it rise. Again, about an hour, hour and 15 minutes. Be sure to cover it with either cloth or plastic wrap. I recommend cloth. Alrighty, so our cranberry and pecan bread has been raising in their Bannetons. Look how much they've risen. Oh yeah. And this part's easy. We're just gonna flour this, and you'll love this compared to the cloche. You just do a nice firm plop, and then I'm gonna do a decorative score. Let's try a circular pattern. You're gonna run into a few things. That's okay, just take your time. So I'm gonna plop this in the oven. Do a quick dusting. Do this guy. Oh yeah. And then let's try long ways. Let's do that, just so you see what that's like. All right. Gonna do 1/4 cup of water. And then we'll bake it for 10 minutes. Open the oven door for a few seconds to let it steam, close it, and bake it for another 15 to 20. Alright, so here's an equipment review or a new gadget that you can be thinking about. Some of us have drafty homes, so proofing bread can be a little difficult. What's nice is they have these small little electronic baskets now. They come with a wire cage, they have wire mesh inside, and you just put the cage in there. And what's nice is you can fit the 2 loaves in there. That has a cord that hooks up, plugs in. You put the thermometer in to see the temp. You can adjust it with the button. And then it comes with zippers to trap the temperature. And then with this closed environment, you don't have to worry about it developing a skin as much. Some might if you're in really dry climates, but in all honesty, I've had a few people do a few spritz and then of water and then heat it up, and they say they've had good results. And that's it. That's our bread proofing box. All right, well, our oven's about to go off. Let's get the cranberry out of the oven. Alrighty. The bread has taken an additional 20 minutes after its 10 minutes. They are larger loaves, so that's to be expected. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. Not bad, but there is something I want to point out. So we have our tear. Now, as you notice, this one didn't crack as much. So I didn't do a deep enough cut. So if you didn't do quite a deep enough scoring, that's what can happen. In general, we have a nice pattern. I just didn't cut deep enough when we got into these edges. No big deal. This, however, is interesting. This was deep, that was good. This was deep, that was good. This might have been a little too deep. Take a look at this. This is what's called a tear. You have the cut point. It ended about here. So you have the nice round rim edge and then the tear. The reason we score the way we do and at a certain deepness is to kind of prevent it from happening. So this was a good example of what can happen if your scoring is shallow on one end and deep in another. Again, use dried fruits and dried nuts that you like. Just stay away from fresh fruits. You need to use dried fruits because that's a whole hydration thing. But that is our show for today. Until next time, enjoy everybody.